Hey Leo, this is Michael with your general reading for December 2020. Hello and welcome to the end of the year. Happy holidays to those of you who celebrate or observe those. This holiday season is going to be very different for a number of reasons, and the astrology for this time of year is actually quite remarkable. In many ways, December is going to be the most astrologically significant month of the year of all of 2020, so that should say a lot to you after everything we have been through. I will be getting more into that as we are pulling some cards. In some of the other videos, I was doing a dedicated astrology report before the tarot reading, and honestly, it just made these way too long. Even after I switched it over, the videos have still been pretty long, so you may want to make yourself a cup of tea or grab a snack and kind of join us here. Before we dive into all of that though, I do want to thank all of you who have supported this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. It's been an incredible journey here on YouTube, and I'm so grateful for all of you who have joined me and have allowed me to continue doing this work with your support and your praise and all the nice things you've said. I really, really appreciate it. And also the way you've connected with each other and really been quite civil in the comment section. I appreciate that as well. I want to have kind of a supportive crew, okay? People who are able to be vulnerable and share their experiences with each other. I really appreciate being part of that as well. I do have all of my links in the description box down below, so if you are looking for a personal reading, Reiki session, or would like to make a donation, all of that is available, as well as links for the astrology blog, which I will be referencing these dates throughout the reading, but it's all listed out for you by date, and that should be helpful. I actually look at my own astrology blog throughout the month as well, just to kind of track what is going on, especially if it's just kind of a weird day. It's a great way to learn astrology, actually, just seeing what's happening each and every day. And I think that's pretty much everything. We are getting close to the 50,000 mark, and I do want to be offering a sale. I'll probably do it more around New Year's, to be honest, because I think that's kind of the big holiday for tarot readers. That's when we, I think that's when we get the most people asking what's going to happen to me next year. So if you do want to do a year ahead reading, it would be a good idea to kind of book ahead of time, but I will probably be offering sales towards the end of the month and or when we hit 50,000 subscribers, whichever happens first. I usually do a big giveaway or sale or something. It never hurts to follow me on my other social media. That's the thing I forgot. All of those links are down below as well. Whenever I'm doing something special, I announce it on all of my platforms to make sure that the most people as possible can see it. You can kind of stay on my radar that way. Anyways, let's pull some cards for you, Leo. This is a big month. Let's dive into this. We're gonna go a little slow. What are the messages for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? And as I'm shuffling here, I think a great place to start is actually the eclipse that we had in the end of November. We had a lunar eclipse on November 30th in Gemini, and for you, that is your 10th house. No, it's not. That is your 11th house. Your house of networking, of friends. Maybe some of you have felt constrained in your social networks, or there's some issues that came up for you. There could be a change. It could also be a change in your sense of direction, because the 11th house, while it represents friendships and networking, it does also represent our aspirations. It's kind of Aquarian energy in a way. And I actually kind of see this with the Two of Wands here, already showing up for you, Leo. And this is kind of energy you already have coming into this month, or energy you'll be experiencing for the first part of December. You're trying to chart a course here, or maybe make a decision between two paths. And I think this is kind of tied to this aspirational energy with the eclipse that we had on the 30th of November. And whenever the sun is doing something, it is technically your astrological ruler. it does impact you pretty significantly. So these eclipses are perhaps even slightly more powerful for you as a Leo, and whatever the sun is doing, you should pay attention to. So when you're actually looking at the astrology post that I've linked down below, look and see when the sun is doing something. It's forming some sort of aspect or some sort of transit. That's going to impact you pretty significantly as well. I know on the 11th of December, the sun in Sagittarius is forming a trine with Mars and Aries, and that could give you a lot of energy. Some of you might be feeling this increase, especially as we have a new moon eclipse or a solar eclipse in the sign of Sagittarius on the 14th. And that's really going to be a chance for you to reconnect to the things that bring you joy. Maybe this is also you getting yourself back out there, opening up to dating, or opening up to enjoying yourself, not taking things so seriously. And you do have the Ace of Cups here on the table as well. There could be new love for some of you. There's actually quite a bit of emphasis in your love life, I would say, this month, because we have a lot of this Sagittarian energy, which is more casual dating, getting to know somebody, that sort of phase of our relationship. But then we also have all of this Aquarian energy that's more towards the second half of December, which we will get into in a moment. But I think there could really be this desire for love that's very, very strong for some of you. Ooh, that's too many. Let's try again. There could also be a significant shift or change in your love life. I will just say, kind of pausing here for a moment, when I see the Two of Wands and this Ace of Cups here, and we are on the conversation of love, on the conversation of relationships, some of you could be dealing with the twin flame energy, or someone you believe is a twin flame. Because Two of Fire, Two Wands, the Ace of Cups. Let's pull another card and kind of clarify what exactly that means. But some of you really could be coming into a very powerful or challenging partnership, especially around the 21st, when the energy is at its most intense point. That's the great conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn, which I tell you I'll get to, I promise. Wow. The Ace of Wands and the Two of Cups. So this could, for those of you who are not really interested in love, for those of you who are more interested in your life path or your personal journey, there is this need for you to make a decision. Two of Wands here and the Two of Cups, it's almost like making a decision between two things that you love. But the Ace of Wands is also this passionate new beginning, connecting to your passion. Again, we were talking about that with that 5th house activation, all the Sagittarian energy. There's a lot of new energy that's filling you up right now. It's interesting. We have Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, Two of Wands, Two of Cups. So a lot of fire, a lot of water here so far. Let's actually pull an animal card here. This snake. So part of this new beginning is also shedding the old. Some of you are really coming into a lot of spiritual energy, because when I think of snake, I also think of Kundalini. Or life force energy, which is actually something we connect to when we do something that we love. A lot of people also experience Kundalini ascension doing some type of yoga, like Kundalini yoga, or various styles of meditation. It's often a very activating experience. It can kind of feel like liquid fire which is very interesting because we have all of this fire and water on the table for you. So this could be talking about something like a Kundalini activation, or just this energetic activation. Big, big energy so far, Leo. And again, this new moon in Sagittarius, I really think that it is lighting you up. And what's so interesting about this one, this eclipse, this new moon on the 14th, it is actually 3 degrees away from the galactic center. And so this really could be dialing you in spiritually in a very profound way. And it's giving you a lot of life force energy, and it's specifically meant to be used towards the things that you love. And doing these things that you love can actually help sustain your life in the long term. So you might be suddenly feeling like you need to reconnect to your passion, or start a new hobby or something like that. But I have to be honest, it does feel like there is a relationship that's involved here for a lot of you. That's very interesting. Let me actually clarify some of this. I just wanted to check the time. We're actually doing pretty well compared to some of these other videos. I want to clarify this Two of Wands a little more. The Lovers wanted to pop out, okay. I think we're actually going to get more clarity about this in the second half of the month. Seven of Cups. Yeah, some of you really do have a decision to make, or perhaps multiple decisions to make. You're kind of weighing out different possibilities or options in the first part of the month. I do want to tell you, something also might not be what it seems. Because the Seven of Cups can be telling us that our emotions can be coloring our perspective, or that we're not seeing things very clearly. And with the snake card, I think that snakes are lovely creatures, by the way. I'm not being speciesist with this, but it makes me wonder if there's someone who's being a little bit deceptive or a little bit sly with you. And you're not quite sure what to think about this, and maybe that's why it's hard for you to choose one path or the other, to choose one course of action or the other, because it doesn't feel like there's a lot of clarity right now. But I do feel like with the Ace of Cups, you are very intuitive. Let's clarify this Ace of Cups, and then we'll look at the second half of the month. The Hermit card. So you could be connecting to someone who's almost acting like a mentor for you, helping you connect to your own intuition, to your own spirituality. But I actually think that, Leo, part of this energy, part of this spiritual surge that is happening for you, it is important to meditate, spend some time for yourself, find this light within. Perhaps there's a Virgo energy that you are connecting with as well. This could be this romantic connection, or this soulmate energy. And I will just say this too, not all soulmates are romantic. Not all twin flames are romantic. In my own communications with my guides, actually, I am of the belief you can actually have more than one twin flame. And I don't know how common this is, but I think a lot of the time on the internet we just talk about it like a soulmate, kind of romantic fairy tale sort of energy. You could be meeting a twin flame and it's not a romantic thing at all. But for some of you it also could be. But there's this profound connection, or this profound reconnection with yourself. And it feels like you're really trying to figure out how to go forward in the first half of December. There's almost like a critical decision that you feel like you need to be making. And there's a lot of emotion here. There's a lot of passion here on the table for you. So let's start shuffling. We're going to look at the second half of December now. Already a lot going on here. What are the messages for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus Okay. So there is a Five of Pentacles here. If it'll focus. Sorry, I know this lighting is not always the best. There we go. You have the Four of Wands. And the Six of Swords. And so this Six of Swords and the Four of Wands here actually does make this Five of Pentacles very, very interesting to me. Because there could be something that feels like financial loss. And maybe there's this financial scarcity in this situation. It could be a relationship, it could just be your life path. There's this fear about money. But on the emotional end of things, you have the Four of Wands. There's this celebration, this graduation. For those of you who are in a relationship, there could be a proposal towards the end of December or maybe even early into next year, because the Four of Wands can indicate marriage, or maybe there is a relationship you are starting or beginning that could take you somewhere in the long term together. And I feel like you are leaving behind some really intense emotions here. With the Six of Swords, it's like if there's been a struggle this year, you are moving past it, and perhaps moving past it together. It's like you're leaving these swords, you're dropping your weapons, you're going towards this peace now. Some of you might actually be planning a move. And maybe this move brings love into your life. Maybe you're moving closer to a loved one. And for those of you where this just isn't resonating as a relationship, use your own discernment and judgment here. This could just be you moving forward in your own life, you having success in your own life, celebrating something here with this Four of Wands. Moving into the next chapter. And I promised I would talk about this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. It's happening at 0 degrees in Aquarius, and this is technically about your relationships. I would look really closely and see where exactly that 0 degree falls in your natal chart, but for this general reading, for the general collective of Leo energy, we're just going to talk about this being in your 7th house. And that could really be a time where I wouldn't be surprised if there is some sort of proposal here that is being made. But I'm curious about the logistics, and I think you are as well. Because with Saturn and Jupiter coming together, this is a very profound shift, by the way, because for one, the conjunction, when these two planets come together, it only happens every 20 years. And for the past 200 years or so, Jupiter and Saturn have been conjoining in Earth signs. And we are now going into the cycle where they are starting to conjoin in air signs for the next 200 or so years. And so we're kind of coming out of this phase where we were really materially focused. We had things like the Industrial Revolution, a lot of what's it called? Like automation? Is that the word? Where things have been kind of replaced with robotics? That's still certainly going to happen in the next 200 years. In fact, that might be the thing that increases a lot as well. But we're kind of coming out of this earth element and into this air cycle, which is more about communication. It is about relationships, all sorts of relationships. It's also about technology, and especially communication technology, travel. These things are really going to be shifting quite a bit. And it's interesting kind of thinking about this year, how this can be catalyzing some of the changes that we're going to be seeing. And A lot of people have been talking about this conjunction like it's going to be this wonderful, beautiful thing. Other people are talking about it like it's going to be the end times, essentially. And I'm personally taking more of a balanced look at this, where I kind of see the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction almost being a karmic reset, or a big karmic shift. And it could still go any number of ways. But for you specifically, Leo, it is talking about your relationships, it is talking about your partnerships. And if you are also someone who was born in the early 90s, like 1991 to 93, I believe, you probably have your Saturn in Aquarius as well. And that is also going to be talking about a very serious relationship. And that can also bring a lot of tests. This relationship might be very, very tested. I see a lot of intense emotions. I see a lot of beautiful aces, but I want to be a little realistic here too. I don't just want to like hand out candy to people. I like to give people something that's nourishing and not feeding off of these desires for like a beautiful relationship. I think there could be some really serious tests if this is talking about a love connection for you, or if this is just talking about you doing something that you love, your passion. Perhaps there's even a business partner for you. It doesn't necessarily need to be a romantic or a marriage partner, a spouse. Really, the 7th house talks about anything legal, legally binding. Or contracts, agreements between you and somebody else. I'll be really curious to hear in the comment section down below what that looks like for some of you. I actually did get a ring in my ear when I was talking about legal contracts. Maybe some of you are signing some sort of document, and that's going to bring a lot of growth. It has a lot of potential, but it doesn't mean that there won't be challenges along the way. We do have the 7 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles. There might be some ideals that kind of get popped, or things might not be exactly what they seem. You could be seeing things through rose-colored glasses, to be completely honest, and that's why I want to be very discerning with the information I'm giving you. That doesn't mean that it's all horrible by any means either, but it just means you need to be realistic. I do also see the 5 of Pentacles here, which again, there is this financial concern for some of you, but I feel like something gets worked out. You're moving in the right direction with the 6 of Swords, especially towards the end of the month. Maybe some of you are actually moving away from a relationship and letting that go because now you feel like you're ready for the real thing. I could actually see that being an interpretation, and you sense that there is someone for you, there's a better relationship for you, or that you need to do something differently, and so you could be walking away from that or moving away from that. And what else do we have? We do have a full moon at the end of the month in Cancer, which is your 12th house. So you might be seeing your own shadow quite a bit. You might be seeing your subconscious beliefs. Interesting how I say that. We have the Lamb and the Cobra that comes out as your last 2 animal cards. Cobra is about pausing and waiting, and so is Lamb. I don't know if it's necessarily the time to take action, actually. And that's interesting, because for some of you, there could be a proposal, there could be some sort of commitment, but I think that's almost more something that is coming. I don't know if that's going to actually happen in December, but you can kind of see it in the horizon. With Lamb and Cobra, I really do want you to meditate a lot with Cobra energy. A lot of Serpent energy here, again, with the Snake and the Cobra. And regardless of how this spiritual connection manifests in your life, whether that's with somebody else or with yourself, it is there, and it is very, very real. There is this huge awakening that is happening for you. Especially, again, if you are like a Saturn in Aquarius person. And the Lamb, it's about finding peace, listening, really, really listening. Listening between what someone is saying. Listening to the silence. I don't want you to necessarily jump into anything right away. I think something needs to be seen, something needs to play out, but still listen to your intuition. If something or someone feels really right for you, you can honor that, you can pay attention to it, but I don't know if you're supposed to act on it quite yet. Sometimes when you know someone is your soulmate or twin flame or whatever sort of counterpart, you can actually sabotage that relationship because you have this sort of story, oh, this person's my soulmate, I'm supposed to be with this person, I guess. So maybe I'm just supposed to tolerate all of these dysfunctional things. No. No, that is not what this is supposed to be about. In fact, you are actually violating the contract between you and that person, because relationships are all about growth. And you shouldn't enable each other just because you love this person or just because you think this person's your soulmate or your twin flame. I want to be really grounded with all of this because it feels like very, very big, whatever this is. And it's the same thing with like your destiny or your life path. You might still have challenges. It doesn't mean that it won't be perfect. And you still need to be open. You still need to try new things along the way. Because those detours, a lot of the time, actually give us skills that help us on our mission, even if it doesn't seem like it's what our soul ultimately wants us to do with our lives. Maybe you take an art class, for instance, and you don't actually become an artist, but you use that design in something that you create, maybe a book cover or for your website, something like that. So still be open to the exploration, still see possibilities. Don't narrow your focus, don't get tunnel vision. Allow yourself to see red flags and address them. It doesn't mean you have to catastrophize them. But overall, Leo, I honestly am really looking for things to kind of stay grounded here, but this is an incredible reading. And this is like one of the most incredible readings I think I've ever given on YouTube. You have to let me know in the comments section down below, like, what is going on? Are you meeting this person? Or are you just feeling pulled to a different part of the country? How is this manifesting for you this month? You have to let me know. I would love to hear it. And of course, if you want some clarity, maybe you want to clarify this for yourself, I do have links for personal readings down below, as well as Reiki sessions for those of you who feel like they need help integrating this crazy energy that is coming into your body. I would love to help with that too. And I will see you all in the next video, Leo. Have a great and happy December.